One of the people that's been disappearing for a long time, that every time somebody brings it up, and Leah Remini brought it up, and hey, you don't ask about this. Who do you think you are to ask about? Where is his wife? I mean, the last time they're saying, what was the number? They said 2009 they showed up, and in 2012 or 2013 is the last time they saw his wife. It's been 9 years. Where is his wife? No one sees his wife anywhere.
David Miscavige's wife.
His wife is missing for a long time.
She has not been seen in over a decade?
Yeah.
2013.
Yeah, 9 years. She has been disappeared. And
I mean, I just know in the book of Bible, Enoch was taken by God. And there's a couple characters that never died. They were taken, right? I don't know if you understand where I'm going here with this one. Where is she? Okay.
She is holed up in one of the Scientology facilities in the San Bernardino Mountains, last I knew. That's where she was taken, at least at the outset. This is a very secret location that Scientology has. And it is the headquarters of a particular organization in Scientology called the Church of Spiritual Technology, which is an organization that is dedicated to preserving the writings and words of L. Ron Hubbard for eternity, etched onto stainless steel plates, held in titanium containers filled with argon gas, covered with gold, space shuttle tile material, and buried in vaults dug into the ground across the United States. But that's the headquarters of it, and it is a super secure compound. And she was taken there because she began to question the choices and sanity of her husband, and displeased him in whatever fashion. And I talk about that in the book and my interactions with Shelley, and one of the last interactions I had with her when she had been left at the gold property, which is where the hole was up in Riverside County, and David was down in Los Angeles, and I had gone to see him about something and came back, and she wanted to see me right away, and I went to see her, and she sort of nonchalantly asked, or tried to nonchalantly ask in the conversation, did you notice if Dave was wearing his gold or his platinum wedding ring? And it was like, Shelley, seriously? You're worried about whether Dave is still wearing a wedding ring? Oh shit, things are bad. And she vanished very shortly thereafter.
What year was this?
2005. And
how was she? How was she as an individual?
A lot of people found her to be, I don't know, cold and sort of nasty. I had known her since she was 12 years old on the Apollo. I had a very different relationship with her. She was always very kind to me. I talk in the book about Shelley coming to wake me up to tell me that I had to go to Clearwater because my child had died.
This is her right here?
Yes, that's her. They're not very flattering photographs, those photographs, by the way, but she is, and oddly, she looks almost, in that big one, she looks almost like Mary Sue Hubbard, a very similar look to Mary Sue Hubbard at her age. And I was going to make the point, Patrick, that L. Ron Hubbard also disappeared his wife. Mary Sue Hubbard was the head of the Guardian's Office, which was the predecessor of the Office of Special Affairs, which I became the head of. Look at that.
Redhead, curly hair.
Yeah, and that was sort of similar facial feet, you know, that thin sort of...
Very interesting.
But...
Can you go back to a picture of what David Miscavige looks like? And correct me if I'm wrong, he doesn't do interviews at all these days?
He did one. He did one.
How long ago was that?
2003 or something.
So he hasn't done an interview in 20 years almost.
Correct.
And that's intentional, obviously. He does not want to be, seen, heard, what?
I actually really want to know where you're going with the wife, because you're saying the similarities between Miscavige's wife and L. Ron Hubbard's wife. What were similarities? So she was trying to, and then she also disappeared. Why did L. Ron Hubbard's wife disappear?
Because L. Ron Hubbard's wife was in charge of the Guardian's office and ended up being prosecuted along with 10 other senior officials of Scientology for infiltrating the U.S. government and infiltrating, like planting spies and stealing documents, tapping the IRS conference room and various other things. And she was prosecuted and ended up going to prison. When she got out, Hubbard believed that Mary Sue and all these people that were in the Guardian's office, who had been doing exactly what he laid out to do in his writings about how to deal with the enemies of Scientology, had created a threat to him, a personal threat that he may be dragged into this. He was named as an unindicted co-conspirator by the DOJ in that prosecution. They could never pin anything on him because every one of the people from Mary Sue down said, oh, L. Ron Hubbard didn't know anything about this, which was bullshit. He did. But he believed that Mary Sue was now a big threat to him and that the government may be able to get to him through Mary Sue. So she was put in a house that was in Los Feliz in Los Angeles, and had a household staff that was provided and reported to David Miscavige, and he never saw her again. And he never even communicated with her again. There was no written communication even. It used to be that when they were in separate locations that they would write letters to one another, and the messengers, which I was talking about, the people that were with Hubbard on a day-to-day basis, used to answer those. And then eventually he said, I don't want to hear from her anymore, and they didn't even get responded to, or if they did, he never even saw them. His own wife was having letters written to her by her husband who were actually composed by people like me, Commodore's messengers. Miscavige believed that Shelley was a threat to him because for a long, long time, Shelley had been by Miscavige's side. Whenever Miscavige went anywhere, Shelley was there. She was the COB, which is what he calls himself, the chairman of the board, even though he's not actually on the board because he doesn't want to get served through corporate means. The COB assistant was Shelley, and Shelley was with Dave everywhere. Shelley was the one that hired the people for Tom Cruise's household. Shelley was the one that would accompany Dave to, well, Shelley was there with Dave and 2 or 3 other people when Tom married Nicole in Telluride. They were inseparable. Shelley then became convinced that maybe Dave was off the rails, and there are a few other things that came up with, her not carrying out his wishes. And so he perceived her as a threat because if there was one person in Scientology that the leading officials like myself or Norman Starkey or Guillaume Leserve or the other people who had prominent positions in Scientology, if there was one person that people would listen to in addition to David, it was Shelley.
They trusted her.
Absolutely. Okay. And the ones like us, like me, that had known her for way longer than we'd known Dave, trusted her perhaps more than Dave.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.